Good morning, Steve. How are you?
The stream is live.
The stream is live. It lives again after, I don't know, forever and ever.
It's been a little bit. It's been a minute.
A little bit, yeah. How the hell have you been?
I the hell have been great. I the hell have been busy. A lot of work. But it's none of it is very none of it's particularly telegenic. A lot of it is has been packing up Kickstarter orders. So it's like Saturday morning rolls around. It's like, hey, you want to talk? And I'm like, I found a good brand of tape. the Muse isn't I don't know, isn't that jazzy at the moment. So what's going on with you, Dan?
Oh, I'm working on trying to get this one thing here going here. We're live, but yet we are a mess. Okay, we're good. Not a lot, but it's like you. It's cleaning up a lot of stuff, but also early stages of a lot of stuff. And I don't know. The family's going on a cruise this week without me, so I'm hoping this week I get to catch up on everything.
That's great. Wait, they're going without you?
Yeah, every spring break they go on a cruise without me, and I have a staycation at home with the dogs and the cats, and I absolutely love it.
How dare they?
Well, I'm all for it. I mean, I went to Dominican Republic with them, with the family in January, so give me a break.
do you is that something you plan around? Like you're going to spend a lot of time working on projects at that time, or how do you?
Exactly.
What is your take on all that?
I get home from work. I don't, I can work on my projects. I don't need to worry about a dinner schedule with the family. I do not need to worry about getting my kid to school the next morning. It's just a pleasure. And you may hear a little bit of a ruckus because they're both getting ready to go out for a softball game and I'm not going. So, but I like a quiet, empty house is when I feel like I do a lot of my best work.
Okay. So
as much as I love my family.
Yeah, it's not a knock on other humans, but
no.
So like, do you listen to music while you work?
Yeah. I try to find something that's instrumental, but a little bit that has a beat. I do a lot of lo-fi,
okay.
A lot of trance house, a lot of chill hop. Look at me, old guy with a gray beard talking about such 90s.
and then I understand you. That's amazing. That means I think it's officially officially out of style.
Yeah, you'll be hearing Sandstorm on the classic radio stations coming out soon. Yeah, no Taylor Swift or Serena Carpenter or whoever, or Chaperone or whoever's the hot number now.
So can you talk about the projects you're working on? Do you feel comfortable about doing that, or is it?
I can. The big thing I wanted to share with you this week isn't ready, so I'm not going to share it.
Okay.
It's a physical product I'm not selling. It's more of a prop. But it's also a useful tool, and it's going to be something really cool once it's all put together. I have somebody else working on it for me because I do not have the skills to do it. Much like when I have you work on stuff for me, I do not have the skill set to do it. But I will definitely share it. Let's put a
pin in that. Let's put a pin in that for a second. I want to come back to that. That was something I was talking with another creator about. I want to come back to that.
And that is something I'm hoping will be done because I leave for GaryCon a week from Wednesday.
My goodness, that's soon.
So that's that. So I'm planning. It's that. Oh, I guess I got to get stuff ready for GaryCon right now too.
Right.
And I've got 2 shows and 4 games I'm DMing.
Wow.
At GaryCon. Plus, I actually got on the scheduled games to play.
Is this a prop that you'll be using at those games?
At any D&D game, yes.
Any D&D game. Oh, look at that. Look at it. You're raising the stakes. I like it.
Yes. It's just more of a nifty, neato type of project.
Those are great.
But yeah, so I've got 4 shows at GaryCon that I am doing for kids. It'll be every Saturday morning or every morning at 9. Now, 2 of them are still empty. So like the Friday and Sunday games. So I might cancel that Sunday just so I can get out of town.
Right.
Should I choose? But I just finally finalized the crew or talent or players or victims, however word you want to use, for the Death or Glory Traveler character creation competition.
Excellent.
Which is going to be Thursday night at GaryCon at 9 p.m. So I'm going to steer it towards an after dark show, more so than I usually do.
Did the selection of victims influence that choice, or is that something you're doing that and they're going to figure it out when they get there?
I think they'll figure it out. I mean, it's my players and character and my cast for that show includes Sarah Babe, who I played the Cthulhu Catacombs of Cthulhu with last Gamehole Con. I've got Catacombs and creators regular John Kowalik, because Traveler's his favorite game from back in the day. I got Brian C.P. Steele playing, and I've also got my last person got added. It was Rob Weiland.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I've seen some of them with Weiland's Rob's Baron Munchausen charity event and stuff like that. So it should be a very fun show. And again, this is just character creation.
You added the word competition in there.
Yes. Whoever I mean, you played Traveler back in the day, did you?
Sure.
And
I rolled up characters in Traveler. I don't know if I actually
exactly.
Ever played
That's
it.
all we're going to do is roll up characters, and
Okay.
whoever survives the best wins the plaque or trophy or whatever I'm bringing. So I'm hoping to make this a regular event at every convention.
Okay, if they all die in their first year, and you have 50 more minutes to fill, what do?
They start another character.
I love
it. So basically, whoever has the least amount of characters at the end of the show is the winner.
If their pile of dead bodies is the smallest, they
exactly.
Win. Okay.
That's basically, and to make that, I mean, character creation and death is funny anyway, before you even play the game. So to add more comedy to it, if they've got to describe how their character died, what they did wrong, and so there's, they got to try to go as far as they can without dying. Now you can't just say, okay, I survived my first year, I'm going to start a new one, because if that counts towards your dead bodies.
Sure.
If you have a bunch of characters at the end, if you come through the whole hour and a half show just with one character, and you could use stalling techniques and such as that if that's their choice, but as the referee, I will be there to prod them to start rolling again, or maybe have the audience members roll for them if they refuse to.
That's awesome.
Maybe I'll have a timer, where they got you got to go. I'm still working out the minutia of the show, but I think it should be a lot of fun.
That's amazing.
And so then
that's one Catacombs and Creators show. You have another one, right?
Yes, I've got the regular D&D Catacombs and Creators show, which will have Sarah Babe again, John Kowalik, and Tommy Gofton and Mr. Ed Greenwood. So
stellar.
That has sold out. All the tickets have been purchased for that one. There's still about 25 tickets out of 50 available for Traveler, Death or Glory, or Death and Glory. I forgot the title of my own show. and
or Glory.
Yeah. And then like I said, what was it? Catacombs with a K and Kid Venturers game. And I'm doing my Flagons dungeon, but I've made it a little more kid level. But they're going to walk away with stuffed neon skeletons and all coloring pages, and this is for 12 and under only. Since some of the seats in some of the games haven't been sold, maybe parents will be sitting in with them as well. But it's just all fun. I want to sort of, since it's early morning, first event of the day, I want to have that Saturday morning cartoon feel.
How early in the morning?
9.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's when the events start.
Right. Not 8 or something more ghastly, like You
No,
you have a good cup of coffee, and what did you how did you fare when it comes to accommodations?
not bad. I got my hotel room at Gary Con months ago. We're talking maybe last October.
Excellent.
I'm not, I don't, Steve, I don't fuck with housing portals anymore.
So you like, I don't know if we got a game. I don't know what the game I'm playing is. I don't have a lineup for my group, but you know what I got? I got a bed. I could
Yeah,
sleep.
I don't do music festivals, and I don't do housing portals anymore. I'm too old for that shit. So
I see. So once you found out the dates, you didn't wait for the housing portal to open. You're just like, oh, I can just get a room, and if you don't want it, you can always cancel it.
Yeah.
But yeah, smart.
yeah, I mean that's what I do with when we go to Gamehole Con, which I'm very sad that you're not going with me next year.
It hurts. It hurts. I wish I were. I really wish I were. It's an expense, but I've done Baltimore 27 years in a row, and they treat me the way we want to be treated.
That's nice. Yeah.
So I gotta, was it? I gotta go home with who brought me.
No, I get it. I'm, last year, Gamehole Con taught me treated me very nicely with the, the booth, and I had 4 passes, but it was only me. I don't know what my situation will be this year. It doesn't look like I'll have a booth because I just don't think it was worth. I mean, it paid for my trip with what I was able to sell, but I was stuck behind there all day.
Yeah, you're there to network in a way.
And being the only person, I got to do I did one early morning D&D event for the 50th anniversary, who I made, great friends, from that game, who now, it's been, it spawned into a friendship, which has been great. And I'm looking forward to seeing these people again at, other conventions. But it just wasn't worthwhile. Now, I don't know if that means I'm paying for my ticket again this time to go in, and if I'm paying to perform there,
right.
I've got my room. I will get a room before, I'm not a guest. I'm not listed as a special guest or anything like that. But I'm talking to Gamehole Con already. I've said, okay, look, Alex, this and et al. I will submit these through the regular channels, but these are the 3 shows I want to do. So I'm doing 3 shows at Gamehole Con.
That's great.
The aforementioned Traveler character creation competition, the standard, Dungeons and Dragons fun show that we have. And then last year we did Cthulhu for the first time, and Gamehole Con is doing a special 50th anniversary of Call of Cthulhu. So I will have Catacombs and Cthulhu as well.
That's
for that show. So yeah, so that's all good. Let's see, which just reminds me, I got to make a note. I got to order some tokens.
Your corruption tokens and such.
Yeah. Not even for my show. It's for somebody else's show. He said, "Hey Dan, I loved your tokens you had for your show. Can you do some shows like that for mine?"
That's great.
And I'm just doing it as a favor. No big deal. But yeah, and then as far as conventions go, I have my 2 events submitted for Gen Con: Catacombs and Comedians and Catacombs and Creators. I will have enough comedians up there so I can do my standard comedian show. And then I'm doing the creator show, which I'm looking forward to officially announcing the creators that I'll have there after I talk with some of them they've all tentatively agreed, yes, but we got to make sure the schedules work. When we meet up at GaryCon in a week and a half or so.
That's awesome.
One more convention announcement. I am doing Rocky Top Gaming Convention, which is a newish convention in Knoxville, Tennessee. May 24th, we have a show. It's May 23rd through May 25th in Knoxville, Tennessee, called again Rocky Top Game Con. And we're just doing a show that night, 8:00. Comedians.
How far away is that from where you're at?
2-hour drive.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I'm not doing the whole con. I don't need a hotel room. I don't need, we'll drive out there.
And you said it's a newish show, like a fairly new show?
As far as I know, I think they've had it a couple years, but this is like the first year I heard about it. And I said, well, you're 2 hours away, and one of my comics lives in Knoxville. So I contacted them. Hey, you want a show that does a lot of horrible puns and dick jokes during a D&D game? And they said, sure. And so there you go. Yeah.
You found your tribe.
So this is a show that I don't have to go, okay, I got to get a pass. I got to get a hotel room. I got to do, I don't need to buy anything extra. I don't need, so we should just roll in, enjoy the show Saturday is what I'm thinking. And then after our show Saturday night, we'll cut out and head home.
That's great.
And then let's see, show wise, we just had a very good show at Huntsville, Alabama last week or so. And I've got a show a week from tomorrow, the 16th of March in Nashville at the Lab, at Zany's. So yeah, that's what I've been doing lately. There's been a lot of getting ready for shows, planning for shows, scheduling shows. Tickets just went on sale for our April 24th show at Huntsville.
Wow.
I've got emails out to a couple other comedy clubs, see if we can expand. They are notoriously slow at getting back to anybody. So sure. We'll see how it goes. I'm building the show. There's another show, another D&D comedy show started with one of my players from, in my network, which, is cool. It's fine. But because we already say, okay, you do those cities, I do these cities, Though he did email me and goes, hey, should I get into Gamehole Con? And I went, well, dude, I'm pretty much got that market.
But he's trying to, but his is comedy, or is he trying to do a creator's show as well?
No, just comedy.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a creator aspect of it.
That's interesting. Where's he out of? Where are they out of?
In Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow. So, but I do my Catacombs and comedian show the night before Gen Con. In Indianapolis at the Helium Comedy Club, which that show is booked, and I don't think tickets are on sale for that yet, but that's ready to go. After I'm done with you today, I'm going to shop for headset mics because it's just too hard to deal with the microphone like this in front of you the whole time while you're rolling dice and
and trying to look around the table and
and you can't. As soon as you turn your head to talk to another player, they can't hear you anymore.
And you have this built-in baffle right under your shin.
I call it it's my pop screen.
That's great.
So that's it with the behind the scenes of Catacombs and Comedians as far as shows go.
That's awesome.
How are you? What are you doing?
Packing Kickstarter orders. I have not only is it the middle age book, but also Nibblemancy. Those books are still, I've got stacks from there. I got boxes there. I've got tons of tape, and every day more books go out. There were some, I'm not going to bore anybody with it, production stuff that was challenging. I got a shipment of books from the printer I use for my gaming books, and 100 books. It's an order of 100 books, and they all arrived misprinted. Like the pages are in the right order. The pages look great. The printing is fine. The covers are messed up. They are printed correctly. They are printed in the position they are, but the spine, the cover stock the boards that make up the hardcover are thinner than they were. The book weighs an ounce less than previous books of the same. The spines were like shaped like, I don't know what they were shaped like. They were like almost like a banana. They were curved in a way. And so the spine printing couldn't, even if it were straight, it couldn't print straight because it's on a curve. It's all messed up. So I spent like weeks trying to, because these print on demand companies, and also they're not expecting to deal with someone who knows printing, who owns, calipers, who can tell them exactly how many millimeters the book is off. I'm like sending them specifics and like sending them, here's how I think this is happening and here's why. I'm showing them I'm weighing the books, and to the point where they refunded me the full amount, but they took so long to get me the refund. I'm like, I can't wait. I said, I appreciate all your help. I'm assuming you're going to make this right at some point, but I have to order 50 more copies because I've got orders to ship out. And I ordered the 50 copies, and they like 3 or 4 days later, they got my latest videos that I had sent of the books and how messed up they are with photographs of the caliper, all that stuff. And they refunded me the full amount. I got the 50 books, and they're messed up in a different way. So at this point, I'm like, okay, now I've created diagrams of how the book is wrong and how the shippers try to mitigate the wrongness by, I don't know, have you ever in your life received books shipped to you where they're stacked vertically in the boxes? Like, they lay flat. Books are supposed to lay flat. These books, because of the weird spines, all were shaped like loose leaf binders. So the spines were bigger than the depth of the books. So every one of the books was at this weird angle, which made the pages inside, there was nothing keeping the pages flat. So humidity, traveling, being shipped vertically, they all had this kind of wavy, what is it? Lay's potato chips wave to them. It was like a sine wave. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to bore anybody with the technical details, but this is just one of the hats we wear as independent publishers. We're quality assurance people when we're not, illustrating and drawing. That's gets the pin I was putting in the conversation from before. I was having a conversation with a cartoonist, Maria Scrivan, who does the Nat books as a YA graphic novel series, and fantastic cartoonist. And she was saying at one point for her website, she had to do a 10-minute video about how to bring her in to speak at a school. And she's like, yeah, I had to learn the video editing program. And I thought that's such a key to so many of us. We hit a wall and we're like, man, I need somebody to do this thing. Like we get to this point and we're like, oh, I need someone else to do that. And you have this where it's like, oh, I have to contact clubs. Oh, I have to contact Gamehole Con. I have to walk up to Chris Perkins and have a conversation. There are certain things that we have to do is just kind of bulldoze our way through whatever problems in front of us. It's really interesting that's kind of what separates a lot of people. It's like, you're like, oh, I have to have dice and they have to come out of a gumball machine. I have to go find a dice vendor. I have to go find a gumball man. I have to find a gumball machine. I have to figure out how to print a sign inside. I just love that. I love that so much of what we do as indie creators is this scrappy, figure it out.
Yes.
Kind of,
do it yourself, but on a professional level.
Yeah, or passively professional at all times, if we can be. And at some point, no, I mean, I know it's like the thing of like the Serenity Prayer, like the strength, the courage to change the things you can, the courage and the chutzpah to create the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's this. I dig that so much. I was. I sculpted these things, like lanterns for my convention table displays. I'm like, Nomad Sculpt is not designed for this, but it's the only tool I have. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make. I bought lights. I bought a rechargeable LED, measured it, calipers, and figured out, okay, here's the thing, and I can now have this on my table at conventions, so my table looks more fantasy-y, more Dungeons and Dragons-y. I don't know. There's just something about that's such a fun part of this process. Is just we'll figure it out. Where do we get boxes from? Where do we get miniatures professionally sculpted or cast? Like,
yeah, I remember back in my comic book days, my second time going to San Diego Comic-Con as an independent publisher with Hero Happy Hour. The first year we did great. I mean, I think we made table the first day and we just printed money
right
the rest of the con. That was beautiful. We were the WonderCon. Who are these guys, stuck in the back of the convention up against the concrete cinder block wall next to the restroom that nobody knows about. But we did really, really, really well. And the next time we went back, I can't remember who that distributor was, but there was another distributor other than Diamond that specialized in independent comics.
Sure. Capital City.
Was it Capital City?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There were smaller ones, but the big two were Diamond and Capital City. One had previews and one had advanced catalog.
No, this was a different company that just mostly did independent stuff.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
And I was part of their group for that show, for the second show. So I had much more. I was in the middle of the floor. I had a lot more traffic. It was great. So I wanted to do something really cool for that booth. Being a superhero comic book comedy based in a bar, I think I went to IKEA and bought a chest, simple plain chest. Then I drilled holes through it. And then there was I don't know if I bought them at a liquor store or if I bought them online or something, but I bought beer tap handles.
Cold Cut.
Yes, Cold Cut. That's who it was.
Sorry.
Yeah. And so I had 4 beer tap handles. So it looked like it was a bar. And I had them on books on that. And I spent way too much money on that. And they weren't functioning. They weren't anything, but it looked neat. But it was like the gumball machine that I had at.
Is that in your office somewhere, or did you get rid of it over the time?
Oh, I got rid of it over time. Yeah. I have very, very little superhero happy hour elements left in my life.
Just your Scott Morse painting?
Yeah, just a Scott Morse cover for #1 over there in the corner, hanging on the wall. There may be a box of some issues out in the garage, but I think I've eventually sold through or lost them or they were damaged.
Did you include those as an upsell in your what was the name of the Zoop project?
No. I was just trying to separate myself. I'm not on purpose separate myself, but superhero happy hour is such a great time in my life.
Right.
Also, such a horrible time in my life.
You're happy to have that chapter closed?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, if Hollywood calls me, if somebody finds the IP and calls me up, I mean, I just renewed herohappyhour.com again. I'm not doing anything with it, but the one time I let it go, somebody tried to make me buy it back, and I said, "Have fun with it," and then they let it go, and then I bought it back. So
that's funny.
Yeah, they had nothing to do with it. And then I had another guy, because this, like I said, there were some horrible times, and I had a storage unit filled with a bunch of boxes of my stock of my old issues, and I just couldn't afford to pay for that storage unit anymore. And they sold it off, and the guy contacted me and says, "Hey, I got a bunch of these Hero Happy Hour books that you made. Do you want me to buy them from you?" And I go, "No, they're yours. Have fun."
Do you want me to sign them?
You do. I couldn't sell them. See how well you do.
That's amazing. I was hoping that they'd find their way into a dollar store and you have a whole bunch of new fans out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think the guy just pulped them or something. But I was like, no, you're not gonna hold him hostage over. It's not worth it to me. It led. Yeah, I mean, it was a great time. It landed me my job at IDW. It landed me getting to know you. It landed me all sorts of fun experiences. And, I learned a lot. But yeah, the comic book days are behind me now. I'm struggling on content. I wish I had more time to do, creation for products for RPGs, but the show Catacombs Comedians takes up so much of my time.
Why do you want to create product?
Because I like creating product.
So you like making things for purpose of selling, or just to make things?
Just to make things for the most part. But I'm not going to just make things and give them away either. They cost. It costs to make things. But I really enjoy the process of being creative and, coming up with stuff and putting it all together. Like you said, you come to a point you need people to do things for you. That's why I still use an ancient old photo manipulation program from 1990s.
You make all your own logos. I think that's awesome. Yeah. You told me you were trying to draw at one point. You wanted to be an artist at one point.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever break out pens and?
I doodle a lot still. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Does any of that find its way into any of your books?
No. I'm not. I actually got paid to do artwork for RPG products way back at, third-party RPG books way back in the day.
What is I've been looking at old D&D books lately, and PDFs and things like that, and the artwork is so varied, and some of it's not
Good.
It's not accomplished, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And even if it's wonky, it's still just so much fun. I think, and I don't know. I think D&D player. I mean, you can't look at 2024, players monster manual and go, oh yeah, I'm as good as that. But you can do, the 1978 monsters manual.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's part of one of the challenges with creating product for D&D is so many of the third-party stuff that comes out, the people that have the money and the time and the resources and the knowledge and the skill, it looks so much like the real D&D, the Wizard. I think a lot of the artwork, a lot of the, how it's put together. And I like, when I do my books, a lot of times, or when I do my product, I go, I just want sketchy black and white artwork.
Yeah. I love that the zines that we saw at Game Hall Con are the ones we see all the time. They're like rough and ready, and it's good. It doesn't have to be. I'm definitely working in this. I'm definitely have my sights on the 2014 stuff. That flavor of digital artwork is something I don't know what I'm doing, but that's where my aesthetic is. That's where I fit. I like World of Warcraft. I like that kind of palette. I like Hildebrandt's. It's very bright, but I don't think it needs that. I think I want to do a book where I just bring every friend of mine from high school who hasn't picked up a pen in 30 years and work in ballpoint. I don't care. I just, we'll make it work. I don't care.
Like artist Matthew Sargent. I love his artwork.
Amazing.
And he's done a couple pieces for my 4D20, which we'll talk about today too.
Good.
But he goes to services or church on Sundays, and he brings his notebook and does doodles in it, and he posts them up online. And I would take those images, clean them up to get the lines because it's on line paper or something out of the background.
Yeah.
And make a book based just using those.
Use the RGB layers of the file and go to the blue plate, and the blue plate doesn't show blue lines. So take that, turn it grayscale, and you're generally safe.
Yeah. And I would love to do that. Maybe I'll talk to him about, show me all your doodles and let's just make a book, based on that. We'll split it 50-50. You've already done the artwork and then doodling it, and I'll just come up with fluff for it and see what happens. But no, I mean, I like that. Because then there's also advantages, you're printing in black and white or grayscale. So that's so much cheaper. And speaking of printing and, like your books and all that stuff, how are we going to deal with these tariffs? How much of your stuff is overseas?
A lot. And I'm not sure if tariffs are going to be as big a deal as the printing problems and some of the other regulations that are out in the EU and stuff like that. It becomes so much harder to ship overseas. What I've seen people handle, and it's more complicated, B, it's less work, but what they're doing is, and I saw this with a pirate Borg, I want to say, or was it Mothership? It was Mork Borg. It was one of those in that realm of kind of I don't know, tattoo artwork, that kind of like punk in a way. But what they were doing with the Kickstarter was, if it was the US or Canada, you could order the book and stuff. And it might be a hardcover book or a softcover book. And I think that was going to be produced in the States, possibly print on demand, possibly printed overseas. Who knows? I don't know how they're going to get a pallet of books over and what the cost might be. If you were outside of Canada and the US, it was going to be a print on demand book, and they were going to have the print on demand company, they're going to place the order and have the print on demand company's local facility mail you the book. So you're not going to pay $30 to have it shipped to you. You're going to pay whatever it costs. If the printing press is in, France, they're going to mail that to Spain. And I think they had maybe a printer who was working in Australia. I feel like that's how my next Kickstarter will be. I'm going to do stuff in the US and Canada. It will be my regular books. It'll be my regular zines. You'll be able to order them off my website after the fact, but the shipping will be exorbitant because what else are we going to do? I hate it. I hate that a $15 zine will cost $30 to ship.
No,
It's
like my recent, Pintopia thing, which, now I'm kind of caught in the middle because I haven't got the money or back from that. And, and so, but all those pins came from overseas.
sure.
So I don't know what they're going to cost me now at this
Right.
point. Which I think that whole experience I might just have to eat it.
You mean refund it?
No, well, just, eat the cost,
Eat the
I
cost.
won't make a dime
Right.
if not have to pay additional. Because already when I ship pins to Europe, I'm like, well, I'm paying $6 for this person to get, get my pin, it's just $6 out of pocket. I mean, it costs, they bought it for $10 and I charged them $10 for shipping. So it was $20 altogether, but it comes to $26. And I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah, not including the package, the bubble
Yeah.
wrap, the production of the pin.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, and I go, okay, am I going to be US only or just pray nobody in Europe or Australia is interested in my product?
I just hope they don't order. No, I think you have to. I think that's
Yeah.
a very reasonable thing because also in Europe, there was a thing that happened at the end of last year, which was that something about if you're creating products for the EU market, you have to have a representative or something in the EU that they could contact. So in case, I think the idea being that if someone has a problem with it, or this is, I don't know,
Or
maybe
if the ink used on the paper's poison,
or it's copyright infringement in Brussels, you have to have somebody in the EU who can, represent you. That's all this stuff and I'm sure that's a useful thing because, none of these laws are created out of no reason. It's like somebody did something horrible. This law is to handle those horrible situations, but it catches us in the friendly fire. So I don't know. I don't see things getting less complicated. I mean, thankfully, the stock markets were able to slap some sense into the administration, so they've delayed iota of sense into the administration, so that they are pausing. I presume pausing indefinitely the tariffs with Mexico and Canada. If anything, they'll probably come back and it should be done with a scalpel and not just kind of broad hack and slash. Like if they say cars get a tariff, not everything, because even if it's printing in the United States, we don't have forests of lumber to pulp into paper. We're still gonna have to get the paper somewhere, and I think that can take. I think a full-grown tree takes at least a few weeks to grow, right? I'm no arborist, but I assume it takes.
Apparently not.
So we're effed. We're effed at that stuff. Anyway, everything gets dumb, expensive for no reason. But
but it is what it is. And, like this week, I'm going to figure out my pin orders, send them off. Hopefully I get it in before the tariffs, because they do work quick.
Well, that's one of the things. I think one of the impetuses for why I was asking about, do you need to sell it? Because now it's a thing where it's like, it was a hassle to do this 2 years ago, running Kickstarters and all that stuff. I know a ton of cartoonists who never did it because it's such a hassle. Now it's like a hassle times 2.
No, and I agree. And I need to sell it so people know about it. Does that make sense?
Because selling it gives you the reason to promote it in a concrete way. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also the more people get it, the more hopefully other people will get it as well. I mean, I'm sure your products do great word of mouth.
So far, so good. Knock on wood. Yeah.
I mean, I would love to just sit here and make D&D books all day and just have a file ready to go, but I can't I'm not going to, when all is said and done, I'm not going to open it up a year later and flip through it and say, that was fun making that.
No.
I mean, why? Yeah, I can't afford it to be just a hobby.
But it's not satisfying for you to put it onto Drive Through RPG or in the DM's Guild. That's not satisfying.
Oh, it's satisfying. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
But but still, there's so much on DM skill. You know, you throw your product up there without.
Yeah.
I mean, crowdfunding is more promotion than manufacturing. I feel in the RPG and comic books, because if your RPG product fully funds in 24 minutes, that's the promotion right there that more people are going to come over and buy and get on it. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I set my goals so low is that I can just. Well, I also stop myself from biting my nails.
No, I mean that's like the 420 project or the 4D20 project. That's why it's $4 or $420. A, it's funny because it's 420, and B, it's low from what my plan is to do this. And speaking of 4D20 project, I have a conundrum, Steve.
Oh no.
Yes.
You can have that lanced, I think.
All right, I got to solve.
That'll do it.
420, April 20th, falls on Easter.
Okay.
I can't launch my product.
There's no synergy. There's no synergy there.
I can't launch it's a Sunday. Nobody launches projects on Sunday. And B, it's Easter. I mean, that gives Easter grass a whole new meaning.
See, you everyone who orders on day one gets Easter grass put in the package. You say your campaign is this campaign doesn't stand a prayer of a chance. It doesn't really
I know I was going to launch it last year, but I'm resurrecting it again this year to get the launch this year.
Okay, so I'm
going to move the date. I just don't know.
2026.
That's a long way away.
Yeah, it is.
I haven't even. Let's look right now. What April 20th, 26 falls on.
Okay, wait. Before you find out, what day of the week is okay with you, or as long as it's just not Easter?
Oh, Tuesday's the day you need to launch, right?
I like emails going out on Tuesdays and Thursdays according to email marketing, but email marketing is heavily affected by this is like Bed Bath and Beyond skews the numbers toward terribleness or Groupon. I mean, they're collecting data from so many fields outside our own. I kind of think our emails have greater penetration to our nerd bullets, circumvent partial and full cover. We hit our targets.
But I think ideal Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
I think middle of the week is good. I think
because Monday everybody's getting back to work and they might not have time.
People have said weekends are better for frivolity. The kind of casual email that you send out on a Sunday. I know it's a lot of eBay auctions in on Saturday. I don't know. But middle of the week. But if you look up the date, and if it's anything other than Easter, is it a go, or is it like you're really fingers crossed for Tuesday?
I don't know. Okay. Let me say this. If it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, odds are I will do it. Okay. Monday or Friday, I will have to think about it. There's a better chance on a Friday than a Monday.
Waiting for stars to align.
Saturday and Sunday, I just don't think enough people are at their computer to go.
I really feel like this is I think you're right. I feel like you're scheduling. It's like planning a Marvel movie release. You're trying to think, what are we up against? Okay.
I mean, there was a reason why back in the day, new records used to come out on Tuesday. There's a reason that comic books come out on a Wednesday, maybe,
Yeah, maybe.
Because people aren't busy with other weekend stuff.
Yeah.
To get in the way. So let's find out when it is.
But I will say, historically, the two biggest days for comic shops, Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So there's some argument for nerd stuff being okay on a Saturday.
It's a Monday.
Okay.
Which was let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. So it's my fifth.
Is your target demo really going to work?
My target demo is role-playing gamers.
I know.
More than potheads. But I don't know. So it's a Monday, April 20th, 26th month. So at least it's not Sunday. Now, hopefully Easter's earlier next year, so it's not the day after Easter, because I think that would suck too.
I don't know. Is there a good day? The calendar doesn't say what Easter is next year?
It is. I'm not looking at it. It just popped up on Google Monday. If I look at April 26th calendar, I didn't think we'd be trying to figure out when Easter is.
You don't want to launch it on, because if I go to national holidays,
okay, Easter's on April 5th.
Okay, you got plenty of wiggle room there.
Yeah. Easter falls on April 1st in 2029.
Okay.
If that's, you know, you want to get your April Fool's Easter party planning ready. Jesus is back. No, I'm just kidding.
That's yeah, let's plan 2029. So
we'll see. The advantage of that is I can do more promotion, especially at the conventions.
Right. Do you feel right now, being that it's March 8th, do you feel like you have enough runway that if you wanted to launch it on this Easter, you could do it properly, given everything else you got going on right now?
No, I could not do it the way I wanted it to get it done. And that's also because I discovered this whole Easter thing a couple weeks ago. So I haven't worked on it as much as I would have the last 2 weeks.
Oh, so as soon as that news broke, as soon as you realized that, you're like,
let's move to another burner. Let's move this over here.
Were you thinking about not waiting a full year, or were you thinking about just going to do it like, I'll do it October or something?
Yeah, maybe the halfway point or something. Like maybe after, at this point, if I can use Gary Con already as promotion, I've got a shitload of buttons being delivered in the next couple of days for 4D20 system. So I've got Gary Con I can promote it at. Gen Con is in August, and then once ahead, a Gamehole Con in October.
Is it something that you could have the campaign in August with the plan that the books everyone will receive their PDFs on April 20th?
That way I could definitely do. Yeah. I can still have it released. That could be my fulfillment day is on.
Yeah, for April digital 20th. And then the books will come out starting that day.
Yeah, because there'll be 4 books and each of 20 pages.
And then you post a picture of yourself with your first box of books going to the post office, or do you ever call the U.S. Reserve the postal carrier to come to your home and pick up boxes?
No, because I ship for my day job, so I can just bring them there and they'll pick them up there.
Smart.
So that's not a hassle for me at all.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I print all my labels. I use Pirate Ship. I print up all the labels here, and that because I steal all the boxes and envelopes from work to ship my product. Or I procure all the envelopes and boxes to do my shipping.
As your attorney, I have to tell you not to just stop talking. I need to.
So, but I'm not using them to pay. They're not paying my postage to ship all these products.
My client doesn't know what they're saying at the moment. They're high as a kite right now.
So what I'm looking forward to is this week, get all my ducks in a row because wife and kids are out. I got to get ducks in a row for Gary Con. Gary Con will once again, regenerate my batteries, as all these conventions do. The shows that I do at clubs, I've got down to almost a science. As I used to have a big trunk that I brought everything in, then it was 3, crates, and now I've got everything down to 1 crate.
Right.
Pull it in. It's a piece of cake to do a show now. I don't need to bring anything. That's why we're actually looking to do a show in Austin, because I can put my whole show on one on one check bag, and
that's great.
We'll be
is the okay, so 2024 rules. Now that the Monster Manual is out, I don't think we've talked since it came out.
No.
Are you adopting those rules at your table? Are people your comedians don't even know there are new rule books out?
Yeah, they're still playing. We play my character. Okay, I actually play and not DM in our Nashville shows. My character is a 2024 built fighter.
So your weapon has
the extra, yeah.
Okay.
The other players, not so much. So we play, it's a hybrid. On stage, we play a hybrid 2024, 2014.
Cool.
Because we don't follow the rules. It's more rule of cool or rule of fool.
It's what Gary Gygax would have wanted.
And so we're just all over the place. So it's not the big deal. Now, I did start a game online with my two oldest friends, Ron and Clay, from who I've known since second grade. And they were the original people I played Dungeons and Dragons with back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Are you picking up the game where you left off?
No. But we are playing Greyhawk. We were in Greyhawk back then, so we're doing Greyhawk again. But other than that, we're playing 2024 rules with that.
Okay.
And just brought my best friend from high school has joined us for that as well. So it's called Old Guys Roll, and I've got
name.
Yeah, because I record them and I'm going to put them up on something someday somewhere.
Really? That's fantastic.
And so it's just a lot of inside. It has a true feel of old friends sitting down playing Dungeons and Dragons around a table.
That's wonderful.
And we have inside jokes that nobody knows because we've known each other for 40, almost 50 years.
Is your friend DMing?
I'm DMing.
Oh, you're DMing. Fantastic.
Yeah. So it's more of a serious game, but there's still plenty of humor.
That's great. That's lovely.
Yeah. Like the first game, there was one of the characters has a familiar, and he died. He killed his own familiar by doing something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So now that's a running joke. Is which familiar are you? Which number is this one now? He has the same name, and so it's that kind of fun. We rib him about that the whole time. But yeah, again, there's a comfortableness because we've known each other so well for so long.
Right.
One of them hasn't played at all since high school. My friend from high school, who I never played with back in the day, but I invited him in and he's all for it. And then my other friend, he DMs and he pays a DM to DM his family.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And so he still plays. So, but yeah, that's 2024 completely. And we haven't used all the rules yet. We're kind of easing our way. And it's been comfortable playing with this group of fans because I'm much more familiar with D&D than any of them. Ron's pretty much familiar with the rules, but then Clay, who hasn't played in 40 years.
Are you using Zoom, Owl Rodeo?
No, I'm basically using what we use here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what about for, any kind of VTT of any kind, or is it all just?
I'm all theater of the mind.
That's cool.
It's just easier. He goes, "How far is that guy?" I'm about 30 feet. Can I run up and do it? Yeah. We fly loose.
That's great.
There may be a time where we feel more comfortable. I might try a little VTT. I might try the sigil on D&D Beyond. We don't know. But as of right now, it's just theater of the mind fun. And the games only last an hour and a half, too. We're not playing forever.
Smart.
Yeah. It basically gives us time for setup, one good round of combat, and then foreshadowing for the next game.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. We've got 3 under session 0, session 1, and session 2. And
what level are the characters?
I just bumped them up to 2nd level.
That's good. That's good. If I play a campaign, I'm in no hurry to level up. I'm in a TOV, a Tales of Valiant campaign right now. Characters are level 3. 4 is really attractive because you get that ability score improvement. 3 is good because the way TOV and the way 2024 D&D work is that's when you get your subclass.
Yeah.
Featured. So 3 and 4 are kind of sweet spots, but I'm in no hurry after that to level up. I kind of like the game. I like the power. I like the balance. I think it all feels really good at lower levels.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're watching this, and I'm sure that they're not, my whole goal is to kind of lead them towards the Temple of Elemental Evil and have fun with that. Because we played that way back in the day when it was original. So let's revisit it now, 40 years later. 45 years later.
Are you using the was it Goodman Games?
I have it, but the starter set is also going to have the Village of Hamlet or whatever.
The new starter set, the new official D&D. Yep.
So they're kind of steering back because in D&D, in the DM's guide, Greyhawk's a setting.
Right.
So that's why I thought it'd be nice just to do that. So I've been buying old stuff off of DM's Guild with Greyhawk's setting and using the lore from that just to work it in and do all that. But I won't run any module or adventure straight.
Right.
Out, I will just take elements, go, I'll use this, I'll use this, I'll use this. So
that's great.
But yeah, so that's really fun. I mean, that's my regular D&D game now at this point. And we try to play every other Wednesday, but I think at this point, we've been every other month.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Are you still DMing at the local game store?
No, I didn't get enough bang for my buck on that one.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I was doing that to promote the shows locally in Nashville. And nobody who showed up at the table at the game store bothered to come to the show. So I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah. And I think at one point you were saying you were just doing it to be a better DM.
I was.
Yeah. So that's good. So once you had that, you're right. It kind of served its purpose.
Yeah. I could go back and do it anytime I want, but it's just not, again, if I'm playing something that's not going to, and this sounds selfish maybe, but if I'm playing a game if I'm running a game for someone else, it's not going to profit me or benefit me. I'll just regret doing it because it's time I could have spent creating or promoting in other avenues.
Yeah.
So I won't get the enjoyment. Though I am looking at DMing on Start Playing. But then again, I get to charge money for that one. So
right.
So I'm working on out the details on that, on when I can fit that, when I can do it on a regular schedule type of thing. It all comes down to schedule when you have a job, a family, conventions, comedy show.
How about the new streaming service that you were
Moonbeam? I tried to hook up on it this morning and it didn't work. So I've got to work out some. I haven't had the time to sit down and figure out what's going on or why it's not working for me the way I want. So, but they just started the open beta for that. I was on the alpha.
Oh, gotcha.
So there may be things, out of my control.
Right.
But regardless, I'm in at the beginning, so I get all the perks and stuff, even if I don't have it up and running the way I want at this point. But again, that's something to work on this week when I'm all alone, nobody here.
Well, that's good. Get some good stuff done. Now I know next Saturday I'm not available. I got family coming in from out of town, and it sounds like the next Saturday you're on the road.
I'll be at whatever GaryCon.
You're on assignment, but
yes.
we'll plan to meet up again in 3 weeks, and I can find out everything that happened at GaryCon, and maybe by that time I'll be able to announce my next project.
Nice, that would be cool.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. You know me. I don't want to talk about it till it's ready.
Yeah, I'll talk about anything I have planned.
You're cooking so many things. You're cooking so many things.
I haven't cooked much lately. A lot of I'm not going to be able to finish this. Let's put it in the fridge for a while. I'm not going to be able to finish this.
Well, but yeah, I haven't been cooking much. Oh, except the GaryCon events I've got lined up in a week and a half, or I've got a show in 3 different cities. Yeah. Just that. I like how that is just like background radiation for you now. What was a massive achievement for you 2 years ago is now like, I got nothing.
Yeah. It's just a job now.
Just sitting there, just gonna be playing D&D with Ed Greenwood and John Kovalik. Nothing big.
Whatever. Yeah, and then of course, getting ready for GaryCon, I had all my talent for GaryCon shows go. Am I on any of your shows? What days are they? What nights? What time? I'm like, dudes, you all agreed already. This should be in your ink in your calendar. Don't
bring something for Ed Greenwood to sign.
Do you see this poster behind me?
Uh-huh.
Ed signed that.
Good. I thought maybe in the library of Dan, you probably had some Ed Greenwood stuff on the shelves that I just want to make sure that I've seen you in those when you're in your go mode, when you're in your pro, you're very pro. I'm like, you want a photo with Chris Perkins? Like, oh yeah. It's like,
yeah, I when I don't I try not to fanboy as much when I'm networking or
Your
promote.
colleagues. It's colleagues. They're getting a chance to get a photograph with Dan Taylor.
Well,
It's
like
for-
the
it's for
last time
them.
I bumped into Greenwood at Origin, I took a picture of him and my daughter, so which is hilarious.
That's awesome.
She has no idea. But yeah, so that's, I think, I mean, look, I still got a check from a club I haven't even opened up yet to find out how much money I lost on that show.
Fantastic.
What else? Yeah, the 420, the shows, the conventions. Yeah, that's my lot in life right now.
That's plenty.
Yeah. Exhausting for not having anything to report.
Well, have a great time at GaryCon. I hope it's fantastic. I can't wait to hear the reports. And
I will try to have a bunch of stuff to show off and do with all that. And yeah, because I still got to design the trophy or plaque that I'm going to have for the thing.
that's awesome.
And get that done and in my hands before I leave for Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
That's wonderful. I want to show and tell when you get back of all the cool stuff you picked up too.
Yeah, we'll see. I got to start being budget conscious too, but you know me.
Yeah. I'm really budget conscious. Oh, that's something else that has a D&D logo on it.
Let's just say I will not buy another $360 wizard hat.
No.
I hope. Well, I say that now, but
Yeah, exactly.
every wizard hat needs a good cloak, right?
You got the Lego kit, right?
Oh yeah, I haven't even cracked that open. Yeah.
Of course you haven't. You got.
Here's a great thing about my shows. I had a fan at the Huntsville show bring me. I've been collecting those Lego minifigures. But the Dragonborn Paladin is the hardest one to find. Going for 15 or 20 bucks a pop on eBay. Somebody at my show brought me one.
That's lovely. That's lovely.
I get dice pouches. I get dice. I get Lego figures. It's so wonderful.
That's
Huntsville.
sweet.
Huntsville has the best crowd. We're almost a family. In fact, I scheduled my next show so one of the people there can have all his friends that are in town for his birthday come to the show. And
That's excellent.
yeah, so they're good. That's what I love about the D&D community that I've established. Now, of course, the management and bookers of the club would just like to have more people and more asses and more seats eating more food and more drinks, but I do what I can.
That's great. That's wonderful. That's
all right, Steve. Talk to you later.
That sounds great.
3 weeks or so.
3 weeks. We'll get the GaryCon report.
You'll get the GaryCon report and and a couple shows. So we'll see how it goes. And hopefully I'll have an idea of what's happening with 4D20 by then.
Yeah, and if you post any podcasts, any new stuff to listen to, let us know.
Will do. All right, Steve. I will see you when I see you.
All right. And may all your, what do you say at the end of this every time?
And may you make all of your saving throws.
There you go. I'm like, I don't know. It's been too long.